All right, so we welcome everyone to our fourth workshop of the day. Can everyone see me? All right,
Yes.
good, good. So my name is Mildred, and I'll be your host for today. Um, I coordinate the Urban Harvest Program at Black Creek Community Farm, and this is our first online collaboration. There's 5 hubs that are involved in hosting this event, and so we welcome all of you. I hope you stay through. There's 2 more workshops coming. There's food demo and bike repair coming after the plant-based talk. So stay tuned. At this point, I just want to reflect and acknowledge the land that we are on. Let's do a land acknowledgement. We acknowledge the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse nations, Inuit, and Métis people. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. And I know that a lot of you must be familiar with Zoom already. We've been doing this for like a year during this pandemic, but it's good to be reminded to just have this session run smoothly. I just want to remind everyone that this is being recorded, and if you are not comfortable to show your video, to show your face, you can turn off your video. And please mute yourself while we are having the presentation so that we can lessen distraction. And also, you are open to like send your comments, questions, or anything that you wanna like comment on the chat below. Um, and you will also have the opportunity to have your questions and comments answered as we proceed. Um, and that's it. Next is I just want to turn over and welcome Jedrick Saul. He is a representative from the city, and he'll be talking to you about the community reduce and reuse program.
Great. Thank you very much, Mildred. Happy Earth Day, everyone. My name is Jed. I'm with the City of Toronto Solid Waste Management Services unit there. Basically, I coordinate and oversee the Community Reduce Reuse program. As you can see there's 5 program areas: bicycle repair, soil repair, urban harvest, community composting, and share reuse. So basically, this program is supported by the City of Toronto Solid Waste Management Services Community Reduce Reuse Program, also known as CRRPs. The main objectives of CRPs are to reduce waste and build sustainable communities. Basically, the way I look at it is categorized by 3 pillars. One, by providing opportunities to reuse, share, and repair items. And the second pillar is to offer skills training. And the third is basically just creating safe spaces for community members to gather. Um, as Mildred indicated earlier, we did already complete 3 earlier workshops that were CRRP related, but today we're going to be focusing on Urban Harvest. And what exactly is the Urban Harvest program? Well, the Urban Harvest program helps reduce food waste and benefits the broader community by collecting surplus fruits and vegetables from residents' backyards. And basically, what they do is they redistribute them to local food banks and other programs. It also provides an opportunity to learn about preserving food through canning workshops. Just to put it into context, in terms of what we were able to accomplish in 2020, they were able to collect over 3,000 pounds of surplus fruits and vegetables and redistribute them. And at the same time, for 2020, we were able to do 215 canning and preserving workshops, similar to the one we're going to be doing today. The City of Toronto is partnering with a number of strategic partners in Rexdale Community Health Center. I'm going to turn this over back to you, Mildred.
Thank you so much, Jed. So as I mentioned, I coordinate the Urban Harvest Program, which is based at Black Creek Community Farm, located in the Jane and Finch community. So with the surplus produce that we collect from people's that they grow in their own backyard, the produce that they grow. We redistribute them to 6 local food banks in the community, and we run cooking and preservation workshops throughout the year. Black Creek Community Farm advocates for food security and food sovereignty, and we support local food systems. We know that food affects our health. For today, we will be listening to Joe and learn how plant-based lifestyle can be good for you and the planet. He is a plant-based nutritionist, a farmer, and author of Let Food Be Your Medicine Today. Guildford Joe Thomas is also the founder of Black Vegans of Toronto and co-chair of the Black Creek Community Farm Steering Committee. Joe is very passionate about healthy living and has been enjoying plant-based lifestyle for 40 years, advocating for a diet of whole and plant-based food. He runs Atiba Farm, a CSA farm and for-profit social enterprise outside of GTA, where he grows culturally diverse food for Black Toronto residents. And following the talk, we will host a food demo by Cori from Urban Harvest Rexdale. But first, let's start and welcome Joe Thomas.
Thank you, Mildred.
Joe, you can adjust your audio. We can't hear the drums. Currently, Joe is doing some drumming introduction. Joe? I don't think Joe can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear him too. Maybe he unmute himself.
Joe? Joe, we can't hear the drumming. Can you adjust? Oh, because you are on your headset. Yeah, we missed the drumming.
Okay, sorry.
Do you think you can do that again? There you go. Wonderful. Okay. Joe, I think you have to take off your headset. You got to take off your headset so that so the laptop can pick up the sound.
Okay.
Yes. It disappeared again. There's a little bit of technical difficulty.
Joe, is it possible to bring the drum closer to the laptop?
Okay, I'll just get into the talk now. Greetings all. Sorry about the adjustment to the drumming sound. I'm happy to be here on this wonderful day. It's a sort of strange day because we can't be outside doing our thing, but at the same time, we are here on this earth and we have a lot to celebrate in terms of what the earth has given us. And at the same time, we have to be very mindful of what we do to the earth. And if we wanted to continue to give us, we have to be very, very careful with how we treat the earth. As Mildred said, I am a farmer. I also spend a lot of time studying plant-based nutrition. I have been doing this for 46 years. My journey started a long time ago, and I continue to learn and continue to experience a wonderful lifestyle in terms of great health and wonderful associations. So what I want to cover in my short time here today with you is a few major topics. One, I'm going to talk about what is a plant-based lifestyle. There's a lot of confusion about, whether vegetarian or vegan, and pescatarian and a whole lot of different things that are thrown into that mix. And some people get confused as to, what lifestyle they should really follow. What's the different names and the different designs that they have. A lot of it is unnecessarily complicated in terms of what you can eat and what you can't eat. That's why, I've gotten to the point where what I and my group advocate is a plant-based lifestyle. And what that basically means is that you eat mostly plants or products that are derived from plants, but not overly processed. What we discover is that the further away you get from the original plant is the less nutritious that food is. So by design or by intention, the closer you can eat to the original plant, better still, just eat the original plant, and you'll find that you get better results health-wise. We live in a time right now where a lot of the food is processed, in some cases overly processed, so that you can't even recognize where the original food came from. Unfortunately, we have young people right now who don't know where some of the food that we grow comes from. They see it in the grocery, and that's how they recognize food. If they see the actual plant or the tree that vegetable or fruit came from, they would not recognize it. So that's part of what we have to do now, bring people, or bring young people especially, closer to the earth, for them to see what the earth produces for us. Let them also respect the earth in the sense that it gives us so much that we have to be very mindful of what we get from it. One of the things that is happening right now is there's a growing recognition as to the importance of what we eat and how it relates to the environment. A major part of that is our consumption of animals. COVID-19 has brought a recognition and a realization to a lot of people that 3/4 of the new infections originate from animals. That is science telling us that we should not be eating animals if we want to continue to live on a healthy planet. And that is just not for our sake or for the environment. It's also for the animal's sake. And what that does, that makes a better ecosystem for all of us. It's a win-win all around when we recognize that eating animals makes the whole system, throws the whole system out of whack. I know just saying that, a lot of people will be saying, well, what do we do? What do we eat? And as I'm saying now, I'm not advocating that everybody become vegan or everybody just stop eating meat right away. It's a process. The point that I'm making is that knowing what we know right now, especially what we're experiencing right now, should all give us pause and make us think that we should be looking at what we eat and making that adjustment. A little adjustment in terms of what we eat, how much we eat. You cut back on your meat consumption, you cut back on eggs, fish, whatever you're eating right now. If you cut back on those things and eat more plants, and we have such a wide variety of plants, there's no comparison when it comes to choices. Often I hear people ask me, well, what would I be able to eat if I don't eat meat? And it's kind of funny because there are more varieties of fruits and vegetables than there are of meats. So just that alone tells you that you have greater choices. You're not confined to the traditional potatoes and carrots and stuff like that. You can venture into a wide variety of fruits and vegetables. And as a matter of fact, the diversity of what you eat, it's healthier for your gut. That's another finding that we've been working with a lot right now in trying to grow a more diverse amount of fruits and vegetables, because that gives you a healthier glow, a healthier feeling, a healthier outcome. We often look at food as something that it's almost in some cases like an inconvenience. Some people say, well, I don't have time to prepare food, so therefore I'll just pick up anything. We tend to just not think about what type of fuel we're putting in our body. And if we think about it, if you put cheap gas in a car, in an expensive car, what sort of performance would you expect from that? It's the same thing with your body. If you see your body as a fine, high-class vehicle, why would you want to put, cheap burgers and hot dogs and whatever is hot and cheap into your body? You have to think about what you're eating and plan what you're putting in your body. And these days, it is so much easier. When I started several years ago, my choice was a big salad. At any event, whatever it was, that was my choice. Now you have so many different choices. At the grocery, you can get pre-prepared vegan meals, pre-prepared plant-based meals. Now, almost every major fast food restaurant has some form of a plant-based meal to offer you. I think I heard just recently McDonald's now has one too. I'm not advocating that that's what you eat regularly, but at least that's a transition point. And for every day that you don't eat meat, the environment benefits it tremendously. For every meatless Monday or fishless Friday, or whatever you want to call it, you benefit, and the environment and the animals also benefit. So we have to really look at how do we cut back on the amount of meat we eat, and again, the effects that it has on our body and also on the overall environment. Another key thing here, that there's new research that is really strongly coming out showing that what we feed our children severely affects their mental and emotional health. And we look around, we see the amount of depression and violence that is happening in our communities. And we kind of wonder, well, why is all this happening now? And there's solid research that is showing that the food that we're eating, or that our kids are eating, with all the chemicals and everything else, is severely affecting them emotionally and mentally. So that's another strong reason, if you need one, to seriously look at what you're feeding your children and what you're feeding yourself too. The process of eliminating some of this is quite simple. All of us have particular, even those of us who don't eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, we have our favorites. Start eating more of that favorite, and then start experimenting with others. Looking at other fruits and vegetables. Just get curious. The amount of waste that comes from rearing these animals for food. I wouldn't bore you with all the statistics, but you can just Google it and you'll see what a detrimental effect this has on our environment and overall health. You know, what we have now too is healthcare has been monetized to the point where a sick person has more monetary value than a healthy person. You know, and that's what we have to think about. Most of the illnesses that we have are foodborne illnesses. So if we tie it all together, what they're encouraging you to do is to get sick so that they can get rich. Because if you are healthy, they can't get rich. So you wouldn't get much of the strong promotion for a plant-based lifestyle from the companies that sell fast foods or the companies that sell processed food. To the credit of the Canadian government, the Canadian Food Guide, if you look at it, strongly suggests a plant-based life. You know, it says here, have plenty of vegetables and fruits, and that's half your plate. The part that talks about protein has a mix of a few chunks of meat, eggs, and a piece of salmon, I think it looks like. But the rest is grains, beans, you know, you have your pastas. So the Canadian Food Guide really strongly suggests that this is the way we should eat to be healthy. You know, and as I said, to their credit, because with all the pressure and the influence from all these great manufacturers who support different politicians, you know, financially, they have sort of decided to go do the right thing, basically, and advise people to continue or to eat the healthiest way possible, and that's the plant-based lifestyle. Even the US-based Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, which is not by any means a vegan or plant-based promoting organization, they stated that well-planned plant-based diets support health and are appropriate throughout all life stages, including pregnancy, lactation, childhood, and adulthood, as well as for athletes. That's another thing that people, you know, have been saying over the years, that how can you raise a child without giving that child meat? In some cases, people thought that not feeding a child meat is depriving that child of nutrition. Well, the science is showing that the opposite is true. When you introduce children to meat and dairy products early, you are really setting them up for chronic diseases later in life. You know, cow's milk. You know, we all, those of us who are older, we grew up, you know, hearing that cow's milk was the most perfect food. And yes, they were right. It's the most perfect food for baby cows, for calves, not for humans, right? We are the only species that drink another species' milk, you know. And you go to the grocery and you see coolers packed with it. And if we know how that milk is being produced, you know, the forced pregnancy, so that the cow is lactating all the time, and we drink that, and all the other things that are included in that, because the cows are being fed hormones so that they don't get diseases, and those hormones don't disappear when we drink that milk. So there are a whole lot of reasons why we should not, particularly on a day like when we're celebrating Earth Day, we need to be reflecting on things like that. To maintain that balance of life, and for all of us to live and exist, meaning we and the animals, to live on this planet and share that space and respect and love. You know, we have this inconsistency with animals. where we love some and we, and we eat the others. We have to think about that too. Your dog and your cat, you love them, but then you see a pig and you see food. So how does that work? How do we make that difference? It's all animal meat. So, and as a matter of fact, we have people here in North America who would criticize people in other countries who eat different types of meat, different types of animals. We kind of self-righteously here say, look at them, they're eating, they're eating cat or they're eating dog. But what's the difference when we here eat, the chicken and we eat the pig and we eat the cow? It's all animals, in the universe. So that's another thing that we have to look at. The production of food, the pain and suffering that's accompanying the production of some of these foods that are basically fed to animals. A large percentage of the wheat and grain that's grown in mass farms all over North America and in parts of Asia and Mexico, it's grown to feed animals. So look at this. We grow the grain, we feed the animals, and then we eat the animals. We need to remove that middleman in terms of the food that we eat. Grow those grains and we eat them directly, because it has much more benefit to us when we eat directly than when we eat the animal after they've eaten the grain. That's the best way for us to do it. But because we have been conditioned that meat itself is so protein rich and nutritious, we don't even look at the fact that where do these cows get their nutrition from? What do they eat? Where does the strongest animals in the world get their food from? What do they eat? And why should we not look at that and follow that example rather than what the manufacturers of the different types of processed meats especially want us to go? I also want to address traditions. I know that's a ticklish, that's a little sore area for a lot of people, because when we talk about not eating meat and when we promote this, people say, well, that's our tradition. When we get together as a family, this is the food that we eat and this is how we eat it. And what we, like in our group, what we've been able to do right now is look at all these traditions and prepare plant-based versions of this. It's not that difficult. We have all the seasonings. Again, if you think about it, when you eat meat, particularly people who cook their meat, and with lots of seasonings, it is the seasoning that really makes that meat taste good. You don't just cut a piece of meat and put it in a pot without seasoning and eat it and say it tastes good. So it is the seasoning that makes the difference. So we apply the seasoning to a vegetable that has a similar texture, and in almost all cases, it tastes just as good or even better sometimes than the meat, right? So we have to get creative. And when we look at the benefit of that approach, then we realize that we don't have to eat meat, and my time is kind of coming to the end now, but I also want to implore people to look at this. We do not have to eat meat to be healthy. As a matter of fact, not eating meat makes us healthier. We do not have to be, you know, activists and be out there with placards and, you know, and attacking people for them to stop eating meat. What we need to do is to do like what I'm saying right now. Look at the benefits and make that change. You make that change at your own pace. You make that change for your own health. You make that change for your own community. And you make that change for everybody's environment. And of course, that change by default will benefit animals. They will be able to live and coexist, and we can love all the animals, not some. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joe. Yeah, thank you for your wisdom.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. At this point, we want to open it to the audience for any questions. I know this is a kind of like a challenging topic to discuss. Yeah, but it's good to open it up and, you know, bring everybody to come to the table and see like what they think about, you know, this is where we start like learning new things, maybe changing some habits, and maybe we'll slowly try to like the change. So anybody who wants to send in a question, you can send it to the chat or just unmute yourself and address Joe directly. Anyone? I have a question. Is shifting like hard, Joe? For those people, is shifting to a diet that is plant-based, pure plant-based? Is it hard? Is
No,
it doable?
No, it's quite doable, because here's what it is. Every day you eat, and I'm sure almost everyone eats some type of plants when they, you know, with your regular meal. So what I'm suggesting is that you just increase that part of it and decrease the, you know, the meat and dairy portion of it. And you're going to start feeling better, I guarantee you. And that will be the encouragement for you to do a bit more. You know, but it's not that hard. It's hard if you want to do, if you want to follow it in that fanatical way, saying, well, I'm going to stop eating meat tomorrow. You know, that is hard. That quick, you know, cold turkey adjustment is hard. But if you're going to do it gradually, if you're going to do it with intent, and just see how you feel, you know, try it.
Thank you, Joe. There's another question, and I think I'm gonna end with this so that we have enough time for the food demo. How do you answer the misconception when people say we need meat?
Yeah, well, yeah, that misconception is basically protein. People say, well, that we need meat for protein, and that is not true. You know, that's something that we've been told for years, and the meat processors continue to spread that story. Almost everything you eat has protein in it, and the best quality protein you get from vegetables. You know, and that's a fact. If people take the time to do the research, they will see that this talk that you get that we need meat, the same way they told us that we needed milk, you know, that you had to drink milk years ago. Now all of that is being dispelled. But as I said, do your own little test, you know, cut back on the meat, increase the vegetables, eat a diverse amount of vegetables, just experiment. There's a whole ton of different types you could eat. You know, if you don't like broccoli, like me, I'm kind of allergic to broccoli. It's strange enough, right? But I have so much other choices. I have so many other choices. You know, so it is not as hard and as, you know, elitist as some people think. And if you look at the history of the healthy nations, you look at places in Asia, and even in America, in California, the Adventists, Seventh-day Adventists, they're some of the healthiest people in the United States. You know, in Japan, you have very healthy communities, and they eat mostly fruits and vegetables, and they live long, healthy lives.
Thank you, Joe.
Merida,
Yeah.
I have an experience to share if you have a moment, or I know your time is tight. Just if
Yeah, go ahead, Stacy.
yeah, actually, I had a health problem. My doctor 5 years ago, my doctor, thank you, Joe, for your great information. It was amazing.
You're
Sorry, I
welcome.
forgot.
Thanks.
Yeah, it was great. You know, my doctor, he told me, you know, you shouldn't, you know, take, you know, eat any, you know, protein in meat or red meat or something like. More than 5 years, I don't eat any red meat. I used to have blood pressure. My minimum and maximum always it was high. After, you know, now I don't have any blood pressure. I didn't used to walk, you know, I was always feel heavy. I couldn't walk. I wasn't active like that. Now I'm very active. I'm walking. I have very, very healthy life because of, you know, just I cut on the meat. I use more, you know, vegetable. I use more, you know, herb or thing I make, you know, for myself because my family, they are a meat lover, you know, that's the problem. You
Yes.
know, that my lifestyle is totally changed because of, you know, I cut all meat. Now I used to, I don't eat chicken, you know, more as often, you know, maybe once in a week or twice in a week or something like that. No, I know that's miracle happened to me. You know, I just, you know, encourage everybody, you know, if you want to try. I know it's for 1 month a little bit difficult, then you're going to use to it. It's not very difficult. It's really easy to use it. Yeah, that part of, you know, my experience, how, you know, it's helped me, you know, with the live, you know, you can live without meat. Is in nothing going to happen. You're going to have very healthy life.
Thank you so much, Eshrat. So there's some
Good.
lived experiences in here.
Good.
We want to welcome Stacy, and after that we'll have Cori. Stacy.
Hi.
Yeah, Stacy, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, now.
Okay, so that was my question of like the pushback I hear from people when I say we shouldn't be eating meat. That's the only I pretty much I've been vegetarian for a long time. I did start here and there, maybe because of my busy lifestyle and, you know, trying to cook. I love to cook, and I think I eat a lot of fruit and vegetables and a lot of healthy things. My problem is it's almost like you're hitting a brick wall when you say to someone, we don't need meat and milk. And by the way, my life has changed and been amazing since I stopped drinking milk.
Good.
And that's been several years now.
Mhm.
I just, body, my bones, my joints, the thing that they tell us that is supposed to help. And I just eat a lot of spinach. We need meat. We need meat. Like, I know it comes from the ego and I do someone when
Stacy, I think your internet is not working properly right now.
oh God, that's been happening to me for 3 weeks. Sorry. If you can't, you know what? I'll type. Like, I just trying to find a gentle way, an encouraging way to educate people how much better they can feel without meat. You know, with their ego seems to be like a brick wall. Boom. Nope. We need meat. Nope.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of that comes from the way it has been, veganism has been demonized, really. What I do is I try to avoid all the different labels and more talk about the lifestyle. And that's why we talk about plant-based lifestyle. We don't tell people that you should go vegan, because when you say go vegan, right away people, you know, it sort of generates a response like, you can't tell me what to eat, you know. But what helps a lot is stories like what you have, personal experience, you know, and that's how when I'm promoting it, I promote it because this has been my lifestyle. I'm a living example of it. You know, I'll be 75 in December, you know, and I am on my farm working harder than most of the people around me. You know, I have 16-hour days doing all kinds of stuff. You know, I am strong and alert. So, and there's no difference. The only difference between me and several of my peers is my lifestyle. You know, almost all of them have some kind of chronic illness right now. So that's maybe the best way to, you know, do it by example, encourage them gently. Like in my group, I always tell the members of my group that we must lovingly, you know, encourage our friends and family to change their lifestyle, you know, because that's what it is.
Thank you so much, Joe. You're a living testimony of what you are talking about. And thank you to Stacy and Eshrat as well for sharing their experience with living a plant-based diet, lifestyle rather. So I want to give enough time for Cori, and I know a lot of you are excited to see the food demo. So why don't we turn over to Cori right now, and she's all set up in the kitchen. Take it away, Cori.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for still remaining with us during our segment, our food demo today. So I am Cori. I am the Urban Harvest Program Coordinator for Rexdale Community Health Center. And just like Mildred, I also, at our program, we distribute foods that we find in our backyards.
Cori,
Yeah.
your audio is a little bit muffled.
Okay, can you hear me now? How about now? Is that better?
Yeah, so just like, slow down a little bit, I guess, and let the microphone like
Okay, can you hear me? Is it better now?
It's a little bit muffled, but yeah, just
I think it's because our fridges are running.
sorry.
Our fridges are running.
Okay. Is everybody okay? Can you hear Cori?
Not very well.
It's muffled here too.
Yeah.
Can you hear me
Yes, I can hear you.
clearly? I'm behind the
May I-
camera.
Yes, we can hear
Yes,
you. You are a lot
yes.
clearer.
Great.
I'm saying I could just talk. Okay, so today, this is our coordinator, Cori. I'll just be speaking since I'm closer to the mic. Hi, everyone. You'll see me in a moment. We've already prepared a salad. We'll be sharing a recipe so you can see the specific ingredients we use today, and you can change them depending on what you have in your fridge and pantry. So what Cori's going to be doing is she's going to be preparing 2 different salad dressings to go along with the salad.
First one, as you can hear me, is a cilantro lime dressing. Can you hear me?
It's still muffled.
Oh, sorry.
If you can move the camera like closer, maybe.
How about now? Is that better?
Yes.
Yes, that's
Okay.
better.
Okay. So we're gonna start with the cilantro lime dressing, and it's pretty simple. There's just 6 ingredients. We can start with a teaspoon of ginger. Then here I also have juice, 2 full limes, and I put some of the zest in there because I like the flavor. Now my favorite, cilantro, we're gonna add that too. Teaspoon of that. Then we have some Dijon mustard, and I'm just gonna do a tablespoon of that as well. Then we have some honey. I always happen to have Cuban honey at home, but you can use honey if you like the sweetness. If not, you could just take it out. A tablespoon of that too. Okay. And now we're gonna do a 1/2 cup of olive oil. So when you're doing these salad dressings, you can put them in a bowl, mix it up. I find it quicker that way, but you can also do them right from the mason jar. So throw all your ingredients in there, and then that's also easy. So now I'm just gonna whisk this really quickly. Fun fact, my name is actually Corianne. And if you didn't know, the spice coriander is actually cilantro seeds. So they're actually the same thing. We have a question from Stacy. Hi, Stacy. Stacy, you can unmute yourself. Stacy. I'm just gonna pour this into a mason jar now. Woo. Stacy gone? No worries, Stacy. What she said? She had to have. Oh, okay. And we're done. We're already done with this one. Sorry.
It's my internet. Sorry.
Oh. It's okay, Stacey. Thank you. Now for the next one, we're gonna do a quick balsamic vinaigrette. And just to keep in mind, so it's not too strong on the vinegar taste, you do want to have usually around a 3-part oil to like a 1-part vinegar. So we have another 1/2 cup of olive oil left. And to this, we're gonna add 3 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. I have about 2 cloves of garlic that we chopped up. We have some parsley that I chopped as well. This is about, I think one stalk of parsley. And now a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. And like I said, you don't have to use everything that I've used. You can tailor it to your taste buds. Like for me, I like honey, so I'm gonna put some honey in this as well. Another tablespoon. And can you help me out, please? So just like that, done. All you need to do now is shake it up.
You're welcome. So if you have little kids, do provide them, but have them help you out. And just like that, our salad dressings are finished. While Joe was delivering his amazing speech on a plant-based diet, we just put together some vegetables that we have at home. Like last night I had some sweet potatoes, so I put that in here. So we just have some cucumbers, some tomatoes, some avocado, a fresh bed of greens. There's everything you can think of in there: spinach, arugula, romaine lettuce, radicchio. I just chopped some fresh red onions, put that in there as well.
That's a nice mix.
Thank you. And I also always have seeds on hand at home, so we have some pumpkin seeds. That's it. Use any dressing that you like, and you'll be good to go. If there's any questions, please let me know, and also follow us on our social media handles at Urban Harvest Rexdale on Instagram. If you want to shoot us an email, if you want to donate or volunteer, it's urban.harvest@rexdale.chc. So thank you, everyone.
Yeah, we want to open the floor to any questions or clarifications, or the recipe. We're sharing the recipe on the chat. Is it?
How long will this dressing last?
So this dressing can last 1 to 2 weeks in the fridge, depending, but it should last around that time.
And is there any other ways we can use it up?
If you don't finish your dressing, what you can do is put it on your favorite protein. Chickpeas is a good way to go. If you do eat meat and fish, you can use that as a marinade as well. They work well with all those things. Like I said, the basis of these dressings are very simple. You can tweak them as you like. You like heat, add chili. You don't like heat, don't use it. You like a bit more tang or something creamy, you can put your avocado in there, blend it out. It's literally up to your discretion.
And when it's ready to eat, it looks really delicious, by the way.
Thank you. I let it sit for about a half an hour, and it should be good to go. But if you do sub any of your ingredients for dry ingredients, perhaps, like garlic powder or dry parsley, I'd rather, it would taste a lot better if you let it sit for an hour to 2 hours, just so the flavors can marinate and come out.
Thank you. And what if we run out of greens? Is there any other way we can make something similar to this?
You don't have to use anything you don't want to. You can use veggies. Any roasted vegetables too. I use some of my dressings on vegetables and stuff. So I roast sweet potatoes, broccoli, squash, and I use the dressing on that too. So you can do that. Any questions?
Does anyone have any questions for Cori? Oh, I don't think. I see a question from Deneen. She's asking how long does the dressing last?
The dressing will last about 1 to 2 weeks in the refrigerator. And this also yields about 3/4 of a cup of dressing. So that will be about 6 servings. But thank you, Mildred.
Well, thank you so much, Cori, for hosting us and showing us this food demonstration. Thank you again, Joe, for the talk. And it's a great learning through this whole day so far. And we have our last workshop for the day. It's on bike repair. And I know there are some kids starting to join in right now. We won't start officially until 3:05, so we can take this time, like 5 minutes or so, to just have a break and use the washroom, get some coffee, tea, water, and we'll see you live again soon in another. Stay. You can stay.